I thought you picked Zootopia. They told me that was your murder mystery that you picked.
By the way, great murder mystery.
Exactly.
No, like literally like a fantastic example of a classic film noir. I'm sorry, I will defend this to my death.
I'm Blake Lively.
I'm Paul Feig.
And I'm Anna Kendrick.
And we're going to do you the very simple favor of giving you our top 7 murder mysteries.
Well, Gosford Park is a murder mystery. Very like wonderful example of the genre, in my opinion. It is people gathering at a country house. Somebody turns up dead. Everybody is a suspect. It's Robert Altman. It's fabulous. This is when the detective is showing up after the murder, which is actually like pretty deep into the movie because you have a good while to like get to know these characters. There really isn't a lead character. There's like 20 lead characters and they're all like so
The performances
fabulous.
are so great.
Kelly MacDonald and Clive Owen, like the chemistry is, and it's so sexy for a movie that is so buttoned up.
What about Claudette Colbert? She's British, isn't she? She sounds British.
Bob Balaban is playing this like Hollywood producer who has come to this country house to like research for a murder mystery film that he is going to make. And there's a wonderful moment where the dinner party asks him, how does it end and who was the killer? And he says, oh, I don't want to spoil it for you. And Maggie Smith goes, we're not going to see it.
Oh, but none of us will see it.
Well, the funny thing, when I saw this movie, I didn't know much about it. I didn't know it was a murder mystery. And so, like you say, it takes a long time to get to the murder. So I was just like, oh, this is gonna be kind of a fun upstairs, downstairs thing. And then when the murder came in, I was like, oh, good, now it's
It almost
drives you through
doesn't
it.
need to be a murder mystery.
Yeah.
It's so much like infighting. It's like a soap opera, and then there's a murder.
Dear God.
Julian Fellows, the writer, had talked about how everything in the movie was hyper scripted, except he was like, there was one line that was improvised, and it's Maggie Smith, of course. This woman who's at the country house for the weekend and is slightly less well-to-do than the rest of them. She comes down in like, clearly like last season's fashion. She's walking through the party and Maggie Smith just goes,
Difficult color green.
my dresser on Into the Woods, Asia, was also her dresser on Downton Abbey.
Nice.
I told her this story, and Asia was like, oh, that must be why she doesn't let us put her in green.
Oh, that's funny.
She like doesn't want to wear green.
Vous voulez dire qu'un homme rôde peut-être autour de nous?
Un homme? Pourquoi un homme? Parce que ça peut être d'autres.
8 Women is yet another kind of hyper classic murder mystery. I wasn't very creative. I'm not joking. It's a bunch of people in a country house
Seeing a theme
and
here.
someone turns up dead. It's Isabelle Huppert, Catherine Deneuve, and it's fun because it is shot in a visual style that is actually like very similar to something like Umbrellas of Cherbourg. Like they really try to make it feel like it was shot at that time.
Yeah.
There's even some stuff that feels like backlot snowy exterior rather than actual snowy exteriors. It has this kind of coziness to it that feels like genuinely vintage.
Fun. It's almost like a play. You know,
Exactly,
in a way.
exactly.
Ou un miracle de Noël? Ah, non, mais
There's something almost more cinematic when you can see the filmmaking, when you can see the set. There's some, because like all the old movies, when you watch Turner Classic Movies, you can tell they're on
Yeah.
a set, but there's something so beautiful and comforting.
The Conversation I love. It's one of my favorite films. I saw it when I was in film school. Francis Ford Coppola directed it. He directed it between making The Godfather and The Godfather 2. And it's Gene Hackman, rest his soul. Gene Hackman is a guy who taps people's phones. He listens in. He's a listener, like a spy. You know, but you hire him.
And a young hot Harrison Ford.
Yeah, oh yeah. He's kind of a henchman to this guy.
Nice Christmas cookies, sir. I made you want one? Oh, they're good.
Oh, that's...
Robert Duvall hires Gene Hackman to listen in on these people to see what they're planning on killing him. And then there's a really great twist that I'm not gonna tell because you gotta watch it yourself. It's one of my favorite films, A, because of the storytelling and the acting and the filmmaking, but B, the soundtrack is so fantastic. It's David Shire and it's all solo piano.
Would you go back to him?
This is more of a horror movie moment. It's pretty great though. He's inspected the whole thing. He thinks he heard a murder happen in here, and then,
Whoa,
Whoa.
yeah, it's
how disturbing.
Who wants to play Bodies, Bodies, Bodies?
My next movie is Bodies, 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 which came out recently. I love this movie so much because it's really funny. You know, from working with me, I like things to be funny but extreme, and I think the extreme violence makes the stakes so high.
Oh my god, I mean, no wonder Sophie OD'd. Who could date a spreadsheet with a superiority complex? It's like, you're such a bitch!
You think all these murders are happening and keep killing the people that they think are trying to kill them, and it just comes around that the actual murder was so stupid and done by Pete Davidson, which is the perfect person to pull off the dumbest murder in the world.
What are the features that you're bringing to
Well,
the
I
table?
just look like I
Well, Maria's so grounded in it that it took me forever to recognize her from the Borat movie
Yeah.
because I was like, I know her from somewhere, but I don't know where.
It hurt my stomach. And it will hurt my hole.
She's so funny, and then in this, she's like very moving and vulnerable.
Yeah, she's kind of the sort of the emotional center of it, and then all these crazy people are around her.
The visuals here, it's so smart to have this modern movie with these like Gen Z characters.
Yeah.
So like you buy that they'd be wearing these crazy glow stick thing, and like what a way to put a wonderful visual on screen.
First of all, a podcast takes a lot of work, okay? You have to organize the guests, you have to do a Google Calendar, and you build a following. It takes a long time.
It really puts you in the head of what it was to be this age, and just the dumb politics of that age. And so you're injecting a real life terrible thing into the middle of kind of teenage politics.
Lisa!
My next movie is Rear Window. I had to go classic Hitchcock. It was hard to pick because there's so many Hitchcock movies I love, but I wanted murder mystery. We thought about doing North by Northwest, which we have a nice homage to in the movie when you have the knife. But I don't consider that a murder mystery. It's such a great idea, something happening by somebody's completely trapped in one location. This has one of the greatest moments, visual moments, that is so low key when he looks and sees him right here. When Raymond Burr, who he's been spying on this whole time, looks into the camera. That I have a real thing about. I love, you probably noticed sometimes I have people look into the camera. If it's somebody else's POV, I always like, because I think that connection, you get that so rarely in a
makes
movie.
your stomach drop.
Yeah, when somebody looks at you in the audience, it's
Yeah.
kind of great. And again, like what you were talking about with 8 Women, it doesn't try to look realistic. Because it's a very, that set that they build where you're looking at all these people in all these windows.
But as somebody who lives in New York City, I know my neighbors. Like I have a ballerina who lives across from me who practices every day at 7 p.m. and a man who plays the piano. I do feel like I see that in New York City as someone whose building is very close to other buildings.
Any murders so far?
Well, actually.
Oh, I've got the prettiest mother. I've got the nicest mother. That's what I tell everybody.
The Bad Seed is a film about a little girl who is a perfect child, a perfect daughter. She is driven to insanity by her pursuit of perfection.
Will you write Mother every day?
I'll write both my girls every day.
It's a play, and you can tell that it's a play. And it's not necessarily a murder mystery because you know that the little girl is a bad seed. Seeing the mother's conflict with that is so compelling. Also, just like the reason that she murders, because the kid got the penmanship award and she didn't.
Everybody knew I wrote the best hand, and I should have had it.
This guy seems like the bad guy. You would think that this guy's the villain, but he's actually the one who's onto her. It's such an uncomfortable, sinister dynamic.
And to have your killer be a little cute girl in a white dress is
I know, and her
spectacular.
performance is amazing.
she's so great.
I believe you did it. I was fooling before, but now I believe you kill him.
You've got them hid, but you'd better get them and bring them back here. Right ahead of me!
My mom loves old scary movies. So when I was little, she would play The Bad Seed or Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, which
nice.
was obviously
Yeah.
a big influence
Fantastic.
for me. But I thought that I would get the stomach flu after because I would throw up, but I realized I was just so psychologically disturbed.
Yeah. Well,
Let's have it. Look at me.
What are you trying to do? Force a confession out of me?
This is Laura. I was gonna watch it this weekend, so I had really compelling things to say about it. And then I was like, maybe they'll just ask me about White Lotus and Bad Sisters, because that I do sneak and watch when my kids are asleep, so I can talk about that all you guys want.
It'll be easier for you if you tell the truth.
What difference does it make what I say? You've made up your mind I'm guilty.
What I find really compelling about this is like until the last second, you don't know who does it. It's about a very grisly murder, and the detective, as he's uncovering what happened, falls in love with her. He falls in love with the woman who's been murdered. So it adds a level of like intensity because there's a passion and there's a love. And what I love about Laura is that I actually don't remember who did it. And I think that shows like how complex and how layered it is, because I've seen this movie many times. I love that when you can rewatch. And
but I'll say I rewatched the first Simple Favor, you know, right before we started filming, and I was like, I mean, I remember the ending, but there's so much about how we get there that I had completely forgotten. I was like always going back to the script to be like, again, it's like I remember the major beats, but like who knows what, when. It's very like A Beautiful Mind, like I was having a mental breakdown because I was like, wait, okay, so in the second act, I think that this person is this, yeah.
When is somebody not who you think they are?
Yeah.
Well, if you love these kind of movies, you're gonna love Another Simple Favor that starts May 1st on Prime Video.